to get a flood
timer, yeah.
flood timer.
It doesn't want to work, does it?
Well, no, I'm not going to give up. But I'm going to delay you, and I'm going to see if I can clear this.
No, if it comes down to it, we could use our phones as well.
Sure, if you'd like to grab, do you have a phone that won't be intrusive, that won't go dark on you so you look at it?
Mine won't, I don't believe. Wait, one second. That was the stopwatch, not the time. We could use stopwatch. There you go. Okay, I'm ready now. So thank you for inviting us back. Just to remind you, you are the Dole Executive Management Board, and we are the Corporate Responsibility and Sustainability team based out of Dole's EU headquarters. So I am Sean Johnson. These are my colleagues, Sam Long and Jennifer Meyer, and we're going to be discussing a significant issue in terms of food waste with you today. To remind you of a few of the facts, 1/3 of all food produced for human consumption goes to waste before it's eaten. And keep that in mind when 50 million Americans are food insecure and 800 million some worldwide. And all of that food waste, when it's not eaten, doesn't just disappear, it goes into dumps, and in the dumps it degrades and produces methane. Methane as a gas is actually 21 times more effective at producing climate change effects than carbon dioxide is. So it's a significant contributor to global warming, or to climate change, excuse me. And on top of that, keep in mind that by 2050, there's going to be 2.5 billion additional people in the world that need to be fed. And that's going to require a degree of change in the way that food is produced on a worldwide scale. So Dole as a company is an international business that produces food, and the amount of waste that goes into that process of production is what we're interested in. So in order to help with this, we're proposing what we're calling a land ethic. So a land ethic is like a variety of other ethical frameworks. It attempts to show that there's a connection between the corporation and the particular thing in question. So if we're talking about a consumer ethic, then it's simply rules governing the way that the company interacts with its consumers. A land ethic is rules governing the way that the company acts with the land. So what does this land ethic propose? Well, a land ethic proposes that the land is a living, breathing thing that interacts with the things that are attempting to use it for a particular purpose. So rather than looking at land as just some raw resource, some dead thing, we look at it as a bunch of minerals that ultimately are going to be used by plants and animals in order to produce the things that we're interested in selling. Dole as a company sells bananas, pineapples, a variety of different fruits. So the land ethic simply acknowledges that this isn't some static process. This is an organic flow of events that are going to be affected by the way that we choose to go about acting towards the land. So the particular thing that we're concerned with is overproduction. Overproduction on an industrial scale robs the land of important nutrients, which means that the land loses value the more we produce. And that value has to be replaced. We have to put nutrients back into the soil in order to be able to continue to grow. On top of that, when we waste those materials, and oftentimes this can happen simply by being overly picky in terms of the way that we choose to bring particular fruits to market, being too concerned about which fruits are pretty or not using them for other things, such as donating them or using them for other purposes, they end up back just on the ground, decaying and putting that methane into the atmosphere. So to curtail this, we want to conceive of the land as this breathing thing, and we want to make sure that we interact with it in a way that doesn't degrade it, doesn't reduce the long-term value that it has to our company. We want to, rather than eroding it, preserve it so that the company can continue to use it and continue to maintain its bottom line. So to discuss this concept of the bottom line, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague here, Sam, who's going to talk more about that.
Thank you, Sean. So now that we're a little more familiar with the concept of a land ethic, I'd like to take a few minutes to explore another concept, the concept of the triple bottom line. Now, the triple bottom line is an accounting concept that allows a company to attribute value to different spheres. The three spheres we're concerned with are profit, people, and planet. Now, the profit sphere is the one that represents the bottom line that we have come to expect, or our shareholders have come to expect. It includes anything of actual monetary value to the company. The people sphere is an interesting one. It signifies, or has traditionally signified, our shareholders, our customers, our suppliers, and our employees. However, in the specific case of Dole, who is the #1 global producer of fresh produce, who has a presence in over 90 countries, people in this context is actually the entire planet. We are a member of a global community. This means that Dole, thanks in part to our understanding of the land ethic, is an immensely important actor when it comes to connecting the dots between profit, people, and planet. Now, when we look at people in this way, we can begin to attribute value to some really interesting things, such as the skills of our labor force, the value or the worth of our brand image across the entire world, and specifically, interestingly enough, the relationship between people and planet. Now, this leaves us with the third strategic sphere, that of planet. In terms of a land ethic, planet, I guess in the broadest sense, refers to the entire world. It refers to the ecosystems, the people, the plants and animals that inhabit it. Now, in a very narrow sense, in the sense most relevant to us here today, it refers to Dole's land holdings. It refers to our farms, our factories, our physical capital. Now, traditionally, the goal of a company has been to extract as much value as it can from its capital. However, that view does not encompass the specific relationship that Dole has with the land. Our role really here is that of conservatorship. We cannot simply extract from the land without a sense of stewardship. There is no sense in extracting more than the planet can healthily produce. Like any investor worth their salt, it is best to try and live off the interest rather than extracting all we can from our capital. Now, to conclude our presentation here today, I'm going to pass things off to my colleague, Jennifer.
Thank you. So Sean and Sam just laid out that ethical framework that we use to inspire our practical recommendations. Now, you heard in our previous presentation the various financial benefits we have to gain to include increased brand image, increased production efficiency, and a high yield return on investment. Additionally, instituting these recommendations would not violate existing law and would also put us ahead of expected future legal repercussions. But let's talk about how these specific recommendations embody this ethical framework that Sean and Sam so eloquently laid out for us. Our recommendation to standardize best by dates on our products, as well as provide information as to what the term best by means, encourages consumers to waste less, which means we will not have to overproduce and overuse our farms and land. This reduction in waste and overproduction puts less strain on the land, which, according to our land ethic, needs to be treated as an inherent and respected member of our community. Now, when we cannot reduce overproduction, we need to be donating as much of this excess food as we can and opening up our fields for gleaning as often as we can. This would reduce the amount of food waste entering landfills or being left to rot out on the fields. As Sean mentioned earlier, when food exists in a landfill, it breaks down anaerobically and produces methane, which is a greenhouse gas 21 times more potent than carbon dioxide. So by reducing the amount of food entering landfills, we reduce methane emissions, which protects the planet from future climate change. By doing so, we are treating the planet and our land as this inherent member in our community that needs to be protected, as it is essential to our way of life. Additionally, joining the Food Waste Reduction Alliance displays our commitment to the problem of food waste, as well as our commitment to our land and to the planet. It will encourage others to think about the inherent value of land in the same way. So incorporating a land ethic into the notion of a triple bottom line makes sense for Dole. There's no business to be done on a dead planet. We can either take the role of a conservator with grace and dignity, or be the direct cause of our own company's downfall. Once again, thank you for inviting us back. We hope you find that the incorporation of a land ethic into our company is the right thing to do.